What's going on, and welcome to your casual gaming news conversation for February 13th, Friday the 13th. I'm your host for the evening, Nikki Tushus, Nikki Ops, and alongside me, we got the man who's wearing a Jeff Rosenstock sweater, Connor Evans. Connor, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Shooting early on a Friday. I get every other Friday off starting in February, so that's very exciting. We're going to go see Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie after this. I'm very excited about that. I haven't been in the movies in a very long time. So that's going to be fun. We haven't seen a movie together since Thunderbolts.
Yeah, we normally get one a year together,
Yeah.
which is, and if there's going to be any one, this is the one.
What is the best time to go to a movie, Nick?
I think we're going to the movies at the best time.
I kind of agree. I like an early showing.
Early showing, because here's the thing. If you go to a theater at, let's just say 1 p.m., you're going to walk out of that theater. You're not going to know where you are on the planet. But if you go early enough and you're like, I know I'm going early, you get out of the theater. Maybe you got
It's
the popcorn.
bright when
still.
you go in.
Yep.
It's bright when you come out.
Oh, yeah.
I prefer that.
There's nothing worse than going to like a 5 p.m. showing of a long movie. You come out and it's dark all of a sudden. You're like, it could be tomorrow.
I just need to go immediately to bed now.
Yeah, literally, that is the exact response that I have. And Connor, we're not going to mess around. We're not going to, I'm doing great. Life's good. Video games are awesome. There's so many fucking video games right now. There's a disgusting amount of video games.
Yeah.
But
it's impossible to keep up.
It's impossible to keep up. It's been a lot of fun. Literally, Connor and
even
I,
if you pick some of those battles and get a bunch of them and play a bunch of them at once, you're still going to miss out on a bunch of games as well.
Literally what is currently happening with Ep.60 is just there's at least one of us is missing out on something we want to be playing right now.
There's like 7 games I want to be playing. And I
the
can
number one
only
on the
play
list is
like
Rebirth.
2. Yeah.
But yeah, we're not going to go and delay the show anymore. We're hopping straight into housekeeping. Patreon.com/Ep.60. You can get this show 3 days early. You can get the casual gaming conversation 3 days early and a bonus episode of the casual gaming conversation each and every week. We just did a fun little draft of the highest selling games for 2026. We did arguably the greatest podcast anyone's ever shot, not just us, but maybe anyone on the planet, naming 1,000 video games. Do we do it? It's a great listen. Give it. I say it's a great listen. I'm still convinced it's the worst piece of content we've ever done. But a lot of people are like, no, this is the best.
I fear with the positive reception that's gotten, we need to do another like 500
I don't want to, Connor.
We can do 500, and I think we can hit 500 more.
Yeah.
I don't think we can hit 1,000 more, but let's do the 500, see where we're at, and then we run it back again for another 500.
Connor, I think you're missing on the fact that now there's not like a ton of franchises left.
Yes, I understand.
By any means. And now is the bread and butter to get through that. With that all being said, though, thank you so much for your support over on Patreon. It keeps the lights and mics on here. At the $10 tier, you can write in and be part of the conversation. We have a bunch of people that wrote in very late last night. Shout out to you for writing in late last night with your thoughts on the state of play. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much. A lot of scores, a lot of question marks, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for writing in. And then at the $10 tier, you can also get Recollecting Retro once a month. You can get the Ep.64 podcast once a month. And then at the highest tier, you get your name read at the end of every single podcast we do here at Ep.64. Some people are taking the liberty to have fun names. Chad Chaddington III is going to be part of that tier next month. That's going to be a lot of fun. Just a quick reminder, too, if you subscribe at that highest tier, it's the next month. So if you come in February, it starts with March with us reading your name. Thank you so much for the support over there. Twitch streams. Monday, we are going to be streaming Mario Tennis Fever. Connor has demanded we put him in a tennis skirt. It's going to be a great time. You're going to not want to miss it. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're returning with Returnal. Holy crap, I didn't even mean to do that, Connor. It just worked out. I'm stoked to play more of this game. I'm like legitimately really itching to get back to it. That's when you know it's a good one. And then Wednesday, you can watch Connor be absolutely dominated by Dark Souls. It's been a great time.
Man, I'm getting through it. Ornstein and Smo, pieced up. We are in uncharted territory. Yep.
Pieced up. It took him like 3 hours of just pure failure.
It was like an hour and a half.
I was over there at 8.
8:30.
That's at least 2 hours. Okay. We're running at 10:30. And then I have bonus streams that are just continuously happening throughout the next couple months. Get excited about that. The next thing that we want to discuss is PAX East. You're not going to want to miss it. You do not need a badge to come and meet us at PAX. We will be doing a meet and greet. It's going to be a great time. You're not going to want to miss it. Up in Boston. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our old stomping grounds. Discord. Join the Discord. over 3,000 members kicking it, talking about video games, hanging out. We got a community night coming up this upcoming Sunday. It's going to be later on Sunday, potentially 7 p.m. I'm trying to dial in that time with the travel that Connor, Brady, and I are doing. But it's going to be Overwatch. I was about to say 2. It's going to be Overwatch. You're going to need to be in the Discord for that. Hang out with us. It's going to be a great, great time.
It's going to be your first time playing Overwatch?
No, I've tried it a couple times. This is going to be my first time being like a new, like a gamer that's played more than just like Fortnite and Call of Duty, playing a game like Overwatch. So I'm excited to use all the things I've learned playing Valorant over the years and apply none of them to this sort of game. And then over on merch, Ep.64store.com, we're cooking some things up, chat. We're cooking some things up. We did get an order of the new merch that we're trying to work on, and we do need to go and toy around with it a little bit longer. So it's going to be a little bit of time, but we are working on some new merch. It's very, very exciting. Review us over on Apple Podcasts, and then hop in the comment section. Let us know on the previous episode so we can set the record straight on this episode. Without further ado, let's hop in to your first headline. PlayStation State of Play February 2026. Everything announced. This is Adam Bankers over at IGN. A brand new State of Play has just ended, and it was filled with exciting announcements concerning the future of PlayStation 5. From a God of War side-scrolling spin-off that is out today, to a remake of the original trilogy, to a brand new Castlevania, and even a John Wick game. There was a ton of big surprises and new looks at the games that are almost here. Connor, end quote. It's time to break this down. State of Play, February 2026. Where are you at, and what are you giving this as a grade?
Immediately following the end of the State of Play, I said 7.5. And as I've reflected more on it and tried to factor in the history of State of Play and what we can expect from one of these showcases, I think I need to readjust my expectations and thus readjust my score. I think I'm going to move this up to an 8, though I would still lean towards a 7.5 rather than an 8.5.
Okay.
Let me set the stage here. What is a 10 out of 10 State of Play? I think it's basically what we saw here, but rather than opening with Kena and ending with the 2D God of War game, it's a substantial third-party announcement at the front. Something I think Kena's cool and interesting, but it's a bit more AA rather than like a Final Fantasy VII remake. And then you end with something on the level of a Saros reveal. And then you have everything else in between. That's a 10 out of 10. I think a 9 out of 10 is one of those two, where you have something a little bit more substantial than the 2D God of War game at the end, something from first party to close it out. That's a new surprise, not an update on something we've already seen, something like Wolverine that we got at the last showing. So with that in mind, you adjust down from there, not getting either of those. 8 out of 10. I think this had a slew of fun announcements. When you talk about Kena, you talk about the 2D God of War game, you talk about the John Wick game, Castlevania coming back. You look at the God of War trilogy remake being announced. I think that's a bit muted because of the fact that that game is very far away. Like, I refuse to get excited about something that's coming out potentially in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I think best case scenario that comes out in 3 years, but I doubt that. Then we got updates on games that I'm excited about. Stuff like Control Resonance getting a full gameplay showing of that, and it looks excellent. We saw Galactic Racer, and I was excited about that game, and now I'm fucking all in. That has moved up into one of my most anticipated games for 2026. Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2, Metal Gear Solid 4 coming to modern consoles, Peace Walker as well. That's very exciting. Some new surprises from some studios that aren't necessarily usually on my radar, like Crafton with Winless, the fucking chicken Muso Souls action game.
Insane.
Like, that looks bananas. So there's a lot here that I think is good to great. I think it's lacking in that big, very exciting one more thing or headliner to kick off or end the showing. But with all that being said, I feel like it's very tough to be disappointed leaving this State of Play. And if you're gaming, video games are cool, man. Like, it's hard to be upset with where we're at right now. And I think that PlayStation showed up and showed out here.
I'm going to go 8.5, a little bit higher than where you're at. I was between that 8 and 8.5. And I do think that the biggest reason that I'm at an 8.5, I think this was very great, was the amount of information that was here is very vast. Like so many games and so many games of consequence. Like I would say that I care about 85% of the games that they showed off. So you're already doing a good job there. Then you also gave me a ton of answers. I look to state of plays and say, what am I playing on my PlayStation? And sure, have we seen Pragmata 98 times at this point? Have we seen Resident Evil 70,000 times at this point? Yeah. But those games are coming out in a couple months. What am I playing on my PlayStation the first 6 months of this year? And they did a phenomenal job answering that through the things we already knew about, adding a couple dates. Hey, Marathon closed beta, get excited about that. A couple weeks away.
Open beta.
Open beta, thank you. There's so much here that I think was quality. I think that there were so many surprises. Control Resonance showing back up just only a couple months after the Game Awards and having substantial gameplay. That is my game of this show for sure. Absolutely phenomenal. Actually, maybe not. John Wick exists. But then you do have the surprises. You do have John Wick. You do have, even though it's not like a holy fuck surprise, kind of coming back. We talk about how much we want teams to get that second shot at stepping up the plate and being able to go and do even better with a IP that they love clearly over there. So I just think that this was very great from the entire time. Absolutely engaged. I do agree. I think that Sony Santa Monica logo should hit like crack. And when it's God of War Trilogy remake and there's no details on what that fully means, like what are we getting with a God of War Trilogy remake? Like your mind runs wild with what that even could look like. And I'm excited to talk to you about that when we get to it, when we go bit by bit. But I do think that there is some level of this that's like, I just don't think that it's the most exciting thing on the planet. And then I play the 2D God of War game that came out, and you could tell between all three of us, this looks good. It doesn't look great. This looks, and sure, your mind runs wild of like, what could a 2D Metroidvania God of War game look like? This is a game that we've been talking about for a year now. And I think that we all expected the blades. We all expected old man Kratos flying around a map, crazy traversal, and we just didn't get something like that. But then you look at the Castlevania Metroidvania, and like, well, that game's also awesome, and we're gonna get another thing that's super dope there. So I just go and like think about all these games, whether they're great to the most, like there was multiple announcements in this that I deem as like some of the best type of announcements that you can possibly have. The hype for Star Wars Galactic Racer, insane. I just rewatched the entire hour showcase, watching a Maximilian Dude's reaction. Connor came in towards the very end, and I'm like, this hour that I just witnessed as I was setting up and preparing the show flew by. And watching it again, it flew by. And it was very exciting all the time. Dead or Alive coming back. Like, just like random shit is in here too. Like the whole Konami section. Like
Rev Noir looks cool.
The Rev Noir looks cool. Silent Hill Townfall looks great for a first-person Silent Hill game. Like, I'm all about that. So they're giving me everything I want. They're giving me dates. They're giving me updates. Like
Marvel Tokon
getting a date is so big, and the characters that they revealed, I think were differing heights of excitement, obviously, between Wolverine and Storm, and then down to Danger, a character that I've never heard of. Like, yeah, sure, it's not like the end all be all for Marvel fans, but I do think that all things considered, bringing this all together, this was a very great showing from PlayStation, and I do think that they do need to be applauded, especially for bringing the goods for an hour and 15-minute showcase. That is like, and also shout out for them not calling this a showcase. A lot of people are like, if this isn't a showcase, what is? I'm like, this had way too many updates about games to be a showcase. I want the announcements. I want first party. I want those. I want there to be things that get me out of my seat for the next generation and what we're doing. And it's like, we didn't really have a lot of that here.
Yeah.
But for what a state of play is, I think that this is a very great version of what I expect from state of play. I still look at what the greatest state of play of all time is. I think it's 2022 summertime, where it starts with Resident Evil 4. remake getting announced and then getting gameplay, and then it closes with Final Fantasy 16 and it being the all in, and you get the date and all that stuff. Like, that's what I want. I want to be wowed and amazed for games that I'm super excited about. Opening with Kenna. Let's start bringing it in. Also, for this, well, I'm now flipping over to Game Informer. Alex Van Aken writing over there. He has a amazing roundup in order of every single game we saw. Kenna, Scars of...
I think it's Kana. I've heard other people
Kano?
Say it who are fans of the first one,
Sure,
and they say
Kana.
it that way.
Kana, Scars of Cosmora. Mora. 2026, this year, I want to start here. Not the most exciting thing on the planet. Am I excited for what the prospect of this is? Yes. Does this make me be like, oh, dude, I gotta go and play the first one? A little bit. Like, I have, there's energy in the air around this IP now.
Yep.
With that being said, if this year ends and I don't play this game, I would not be shocked. And
yeah, I agree with that.
and that's not what you want from it. Something that's opening out your hour-long bang and showcase.
But my interest is piqued. I've always been interested in the first Kana game. It just kind of came and went, and I never got around to playing it. But I know that it has its truthers. It has its fans. It's a bit of I would classify it as a cult classic. And as you kind of alluded to earlier, I'm excited that this team is getting a second go at it. We don't see developers get a chance to make a sequel and build off of a solid foundation that often nowadays. So it's very cool to see them get to try again with this franchise and expand on it. And it looks like they are doing just that. Like the world looks much more expansive. And I love the visual palette of this game looking very Pixar-esque. And I'm excited to jump in. And I as you said, there's a chance that I don't get to this, but right now, after that announcement, I am excited about the potential of me hopping into the original, getting through that game so I can then get excited with everybody else for the sequel.
Yeah, can't wait for it. Curious to, when we probably see this in the summer, released around August or July.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, no, I think you see it in the June state of play, and then GTA is tough, man.
Yeah,
I would say it's a fall game, but you have Wolverine and GTA right there. It's do you want to stack up against those? I don't think so. So maybe summer is fair.
I literally think that we get anime early June show state of play, and it's mid-July, and that's when we get that. Next up, we had Ghost of Yote Legends getting a release date March 10th, dude. So many games to play.
Why is this releasing right on top of Marathon? It's very strange they're doing that.
I think that Sony looks at Ghost Legends as a side project, not as this massive thing. And I'll be honest, I don't look at it as this massive thing.
But there's literally a reality where Ghost of Yote Legends is bigger than Marathon.
I mean, yeah, Marathon could be dead in two weeks for where the current industry is
I think
at.
this looks great. I never played the original Ghost of Tsushima Legends, but I know that people who did hop in speak very highly of it.
Loved it.
I love how this game looks, or this mode looks rather, with it being more mystical and otherworldly. Ghost isn't the most grounded game, but it is more grounded than what we see here, and it's cool that they can go absolutely balls to the wall with the visuals and the environments and the enemy types or whatever. So I'm excited about this, and that's going to be one hell of a stream.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Connor came in and I was adding dates to our calendar, and boy, oh boy, March is filled up. So
are we streaming 1 week Ghost and then, 1 week Marathon and then next week Ghost?
So here's what's currently on our schedule. We have Mario Tennis Fever, and then we're gonna hop into some Overwatch on the 23rd to play some Overwatch. Not two, but the new Overwatch, right? Then Resident Evil with Brady, and then Marathon on the 9th. A couple days after that comes out on that Thursday. And then I'm going to be honest, Ghost comes out on Tuesday. We might have to do a Ghost Tuesday stream and just have you guys come in and rock that with me for a little bit.
When do you think I finished Dark Souls?
When did you finish Dark Souls? I have you finishing Dark Souls by the end of March.
Okay, I think
it might be a little
feasible.
Bit, I mean, it's mid-February and you're halfway through.
I'm just now halfway through. I think.
So that makes sense. But no, I'm stoked for this. This is, like you said, it's gonna be one hell of a stream. It's gonna be a great time. I love when there's games that not only are exciting to play with your friends, but there's somebody that is playing it that's this is my shit. And this is Brady's shit. Like going and playing a Yote game alongside Brady, I think is just gonna be a blast because it's one of his favorite things in general. You bring it's two of Brady's favorite things. You got Ghost Yote, and then you got the bullies, and so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Next up, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is coming to PC March 19th. Another one where like I think that PlayStation is with the state of play, it's just doing a great job of, hey, there's just more and more content in this coming in line 9-ish months after the release of DS2 on the Beach. Awesome. It's going to run like a charm on PCs if they don't break. Oh, a little fun fact for you before the show started, the PC like just absolutely shit the bed. Just absolutely was awful. But now it's working. So in case this podcast goes and messes up, just a heads up. Hate you, PC.
It's just funny that Nick is the #1 PC hater and has the most PC issues out of all of us. We all basically have the same rig, and I have no problems with my computer.
I mean, but also I'm doing like
Nick's
OBS
got,
like, I'm doing other
one
stuff
every other week, and he's just fuming over there.
It's
just
there's a little bit of a noise at the fan. He's like, hey, just so you know, there's a noise coming through your fan, and I'm like, do you think I don't know that?
It was the most annoying noise I've ever heard. I was like, we
so
cannot
bad.
film with that going.
Oh yeah, and thankfully it's not happening anymore. It just kicks on immediately as we're talking about it. No, but I'm excited for the people to experience Death Stranding 2.
One of the best games last year, getting into more people's hands.
Next up, we had Bad Robots game 4 Loop with some gameplay. There's a great line. I'm watching Max, and he's like, "Oh, it runs at 60 sometimes, and it runs at 15 sometimes." Yeah. Like it
just looks incredibly generic. Yeah. And if you look across the industry at multiplayer games, being generic is maybe the most damning thing you can be.
At least Connor's talking to me before the show starts about Romeo, and he's like, "It's might not be for me, but it's unique, right?"
Yeah,
and it's like
it's
at least you're unique. You know, if you're not gonna if 4 Loop, I want there to be like some sort of thing in this game that's like all of a sudden really just brings me in. Like,
the enemies look kind of interesting and weird, but like the gameplay loop, pun intended, just looks very generic. Like it looks like similar. You made the comparison to Arc Raiders. I know these are different styles of games, but the gameplay, like the moment to moment shooting, looks like something you would do in Arc Raiders.
Yeah, but once again, the reason, and I brought this up on the show because I think that Brady, I didn't see him do it, but I could feel and be like, is Nick telling me that this game is Arc Raiders? It's like, no, Arc Raiders has a gameplay loop that works and like makes people sink their time into it. I don't see that coming in with 4 Loop, but I do think that I'm happy that this is here. Let's not show this too many more times, please.
Yeah.
Like give me one more trailer, give me a date, get it out there.
To get their hands on it, and if it's something special, like maybe it'll get some good word of mouth, and that will allow it to break out. But otherwise, I don't think showing this is going to convince anybody.
They've done all that they can at this point. You're either in or out. I think most people are out, but get people's hands on, allow there to be that good word of mouth, like you said, rock and roll. There's no date on that, by the way. Next up, we had Pragmata getting another trailer and a demo being available today. This one's coming out April 24th. Do we need to see this again? No, absolutely not. Demo out today helps it a little bit. I know that there are demos out on Switch, but I do think that it wasn't out on PlayStation. And so, hey, here's now the demo that everyone's been playing. Cool. Hop in. That's cool. The New York cityscape, we've seen it a couple times. This one time there was like weird bald mechs that are coming at you and opening their entire mouth, and I thought this was a good trailer, just all things considered.
And if you need convincing, go play that demo because this game is gonna rule.
And then the other side of this is, what are we doing? What is the state of play? We're saying what's in the first 6 months of this year. This is a great reminder of, hey, like, I'm gonna probably play Pragmata on my PS5, so that makes sense to show it here and have more people go and be like, oh yeah, PS5 Pragmata, let's do that, let's hop in when April 24th rolls around. Next up, Leon returning to the RCPD in Resident Evil Requiem is the title from Game Informer, releasing February 27th. Another Requiem trailer, no demo. Very shocking to not have a demo for this one. Trailer was awesome. Connor didn't want to watch any of it. I kind of didn't want to watch any of it. We're talking about a game that's coming out in 2 weeks.
No demo, no VR. What are we doing, Capcom? Come on.
Pizza, better Papa John's.
I mean, it looks great, and I have full confidence that it's going to be great.
Yeah, so I'm very, very stoked for this. The Resident Evil Requiem can't get here soon enough.
I've been saying ever since I got hands on with it. Like I seriously do think that this has the potential to be an all-time Resident Evil game, an all-time video game potentially. Like on the level of RE4 and RE1 for me. Like I did not feel like RE8 or even 7 like had that potential. I think this does.
I think that that's the real interesting conversation about Resident Evil just in general. I think a lot of people right now, they're not sour on Resident Evil, but RE4 Remake, one of the greatest games of all time. Any version of RE4, one of the greatest games of all time. And then RE1 Remake, for a lot of people, one of the greatest games of all time. Like a all-time, this is a top 100 game easily, I think across the board, any metric. I don't think enough people are like thinking that this game can reach the ceiling of being an all-timer.
Right.
And it's like, no, like this thing could get tens. Like I think that there's worlds where this could get tens. And that is crazy to talk about when we're doing survival horror. We've been down that road so many different times. But what they're doing here, I think, is looking special. I think would I be shocked if this thing gets an 81 on Metacritic or an 82? Not like I would be a little bit shocked. I think that Capcom doesn't miss. But like I think that that's the floor and the rest is all ceiling from everything we've seen on this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's unfair, though, to go into Requiem expecting just another great entry because you are higher on RE4 Remake than I am. I'm higher on RE2. But even then, like I look at RE2, 3, and 4 Remake. I look at 7 and 8, and I would consider them all to be great video games. I don't know if they're all timers.
RE2 Remake, is it a 9 or an 8.5 for you?
Probably an 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that RE7 is probably in that ballpark as well. Okay. So when we talk about RE4 and RE1 Remake, we're talking 9, 5, 10.
Yeah, that's
so like I'm saying that it could hit that, and if we are hitting those levels, we're talking about the first time they've done that since 2005.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, and the fact that we're in a potential situation where they're going to revitalize, for lack of a better term, and hit a new high with this franchise. Not that it needs revitalization; it's been trucking along just fine.
Yeah.
But like, I want to see it get up to that 9, 5, 10 level potentially at some point again.
I completely understand and respect everything you're saying about your scoring on these games. I do think a lot of people look at RE7 and RE2 Remake, especially as 9s. For those like RE2 Remake, the people at IGN, whenever it's on a list and it's an IGN list and it's horror or something, I'm like, RE2 Remake is going to be like number 1. They love that. Like it's considered by many like an all-time great horror game and one of the games of the year for 2019.
But it doesn't have the item box management that RE4 has, so how good could it possibly be?
That's so true. Dude, RE4 is a special video game, man. What do I have it at, like 14th on the 50 greatest or 13th? That's an all-timer. We do have on schedule a podcast where Connor and I go through my top 50 and just be like, hey, this is sort of how I did it. Connor's top 50, what he would update, stuff like that is a little fun bonus part and everything.
That'd be interesting.
And I do, the biggest thing is I want like both of our lists next to each other and see where we have certain games, which ones we're higher on, which ones we're lower on and everything.
I think my list is going to look very different just from playing a bunch of retro stuff over the last few years.
Yeah.
Like
Castlevania the Night,
Katamari Damacy, I think would probably be up there. Then you have new releases like Astrobot, and Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Silent Hill 2 Remake, maybe stuff like that. Balatro, there would be a lot of shakeups. Like I think the whole bottom 10 are
gone.
Which is crazy. Rest in peace. The list might be kicking off with Final Fantasy 13 now.
The best. It goes back to the hot take I had on CGC, where it's just like after a couple of years, the list should shake up every couple of years. Yeah, because you're playing new stuff and they're also playing old stuff.
That's the thing. By the time you're done with your top 50, we've had discussions like, in 2 years, it's been 2 years since my top 50, I think I might run it back. Yeah. Because I think at that point, half the list will be different.
Yeah. Because also there'll be 2026 and 2027 games that have rolled out.
And then I will continue playing old shit that has been on the backlog.
You will have played probably 200 plus more games. Yeah. So,
which is because I'm at this clip right now, I'm doing 50 a year, which is wild. I don't think I'm going to hit that same number this year.
I think that this year, with the weekend that I'm having right now, I think it's a pretty damn good chance that this might be the year I played the most games.
Yeah.
Because the fire that I got going right now, it's unlike any other fire I think I've had. And in gaming. And you want to know what that fire can be called? The Chrono Trigger fire.
Yeah.
It is a fire that is being set up because I'm coming off of a game that legitimately is a top 5 game I've ever played.
I love those revitalizing games. Like a lot of people say that they like will fall out of love of gaming and then they just need to find that one to like get them back in. But even as somebody who plays games consistently and never falls out, it's nice to hit those checkpoints where it's like, oh, I love this shit, dude.
I mean, like, you can have highs, and we've had highs and lows with this conversation in general. But yeah, what a unbelievable video game. And yeah, like this weekend I'm going to be playing some God of War. I'm going to be playing Reanimal with Brady, and I'm playing Mario Tennis, and it's just like, it's not going to stop, dude. It's so exciting.
I'm looking up how long Sons of Sparta is. There's full playthroughs online.
Really?
Yeah, 9 hours, 12 hours, 6.5 hours.
I think I'm going to beat it. Like, I think that if $30, we're going to talk about this game here.
Sorry. I wanted to look that up before we got to it so I could speak more.
Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered announced. This is coming out March 3rd. Current last-gen consoles and Switch 1 and 2, PC. Not for me, but I know that there's a lot of Legacy of Kain fans out there. Then we had strategy RPG Brigadine Abyss announced. Connor, we got there.
Looked all right.
Coming out in 2026. It's a strategy game.
And it's the return of a franchise that's been dormant for a while. I know nothing about the franchise.
The write-up here from Game Informer is the next installment of Happy Nets strategy RPG series Brigadine Abyss is coming later this year with over 100 unit classes and 6 main storylines to conquer.
Nice. Neato.
Next up was Dead or Alive Last Round coming to PS5. This is just a souped up version of Dead or Alive 6. And then it's not here, but we're getting another Dead or Alive game.
Yep.
And the question is, like, is this going to be awesome? Probably not. But it's cool that they're still doing it.
Yeah, every fighting game franchise seems to be getting another entry nowadays. Fatal Fury got one last year. Isn't King of Fighters coming back? Virtua Fighters coming back.
The Avatar fighting game too.
Like, so of course
2XKO. We're gonna talk about it later. That's gonna be around for a lot longer for sure. Hopefully, probably not. We'll talk about it. Next up, we had game of the show, Control Resonance gameplay. I've now watched this section 4 times. This is the one that I've gone back to the most, different people's reactions, just wanting to see what's up with it. I think I said it perfectly. Every now and then, I just nail it, just swish. When I looked at us, I looked at you, I looked at Brady, I looked at the camera, and I said, we're watching one of our 3 game of the years right now. Like, it will be one of our goaties.
Yeah.
Like, it looks so freaking cool. And the biggest elevation that I want to tip my cap to is, okay, you have these action combat sequences. How can we make this unique? What can we elevate from Control to make this game special? And I think that the number one fault that Control had was the lack of awesome boss fights. And in this trailer, we saw some awesome boss fights happening, whether it was the one in the sky with rotating lasers or the way that they close out with like ballerina dancing, weird puppet movement fight. It was just so sick. And when you're doing cool stuff in the way that Remedy does, awesome. And you also said it. It's Inception, the video game.
Yeah.
It is the dream sequence from Inception where the world flips over, and I'm like, I as somebody that my favorite movie for ever since I saw it 15 years ago has been Inception. I ask myself all the time, is there something else that's going to take over it? When Harry Met Sally probably is my number 2 at this point. I freaking adore that movie. But it's not even close. They're not, like, there's a large gap between that. They're making the Inception video game, baby. They're making something that feels weird and wacky that could only happen in a dream sequence. And I cannot wait to play as Dylan and get into this. I'm so stoked. All-time trailer for me.
Yeah, game looks fantastic, and seeing this amount of gameplay leads me to believe that it is, in fact, going to be sooner rather than later in 2026, which has been the rumor.
I'm telling you, SGF, we see this. I hope SGF, we get to play it. Like, I hope that there's hands-on with this. I would be Remedy likes to show for Keeley stuff. And then August... I think August. Yeah. August, no later than October, but because GTA 6, but my bet would be on August. It's awesome that we're seeing this here. I feel like that's gonna be sentiment that carries a lot with anything that has 2026 dates. Speaking of 2026 dates, Crimson Moon was announced. This is a action RPG, little co-op joint. Fall 2026 is what is listed as. Not the coolest thing ever, but also not anything that's like offensive. Yeah. Then we got another look at Beast of Reincarnation, and we got a date, August 4th. Weird that the date was here and not at Xbox. I think that they're Game Freak, the people over Game Freak they're playing their cards very well, making sure that they're showing up everywhere.
I feel like it would have been redundant otherwise. Like they needed some new reveal here. Otherwise, like they're not really showing much new that we didn't already see at that Dev Direct.
Connor, Capcom would like to disagree with how they can market games.
That's
okay. Right. But no, I think that this was a solid showing. Every single time I see this game, I think can't wait to get hands on with it. I'm not gonna. The premise, I'm convinced enough on. The gameplay looks solid. The question is it going to be Stellar Blade or is it going to be something that is
Wuchang Fallen Feathers?
You freaking nailed it, dude. Yeah, like it was something that's a little bit not as good on the gameplay front. Moving on, we had Rayman's 30th anniversary edition. Cool. February 13th release date. Cool little, hey, if you like these games, classic edition. There's like documentary stuff in there too. Super, super cool. Next up, we had Mina the Hollower, which got a demo that's out today. It has a release window now of spring 2026.
Signs of life. It lives.
Beep, beep, beep. It's still the heart's still going.
Game still looks really cool. I hope Yacht Club delivers. Apparently, this game is make or break for them, and I think from what we've seen, it's gonna be great. So
yeah, I'm stoked for this one. I legitimately cannot wait to see when this comes out, what the reception is. I assume it's gonna be nothing but high praises when this does inevitably release. Is this on your radar? Like, is this like Connor Evans? You hopping in?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I am interested and I am excited for it, but I feel like that's can be said for a lot of games that I say that I'm gonna play and then don't end up getting to just because of X, Y, or Z. I think of like Ninja Gaiden 4 last year, where after we got to go hands on with it, I was like, this is one of my most anticipated games of the year, and then it's just like I'm too busy. I can't. So it really depends on what it comes out around.
Next up, we had Never getting a prologue DLC coming out February 19th. Connor, give me some skin, dude. We're so back. A top 50 greatest game of all time getting some DLC,
Insane
dude.
take. I mean,
Connor, you never fucking played the game, so shut your yap, dude. This game is unbelievable. I said it and I meant it. The gameplay is nothing that's like the most special thing on the planet. But this game is pure emotion. If you're a fan of Princess Mononoke or any of the Ghibli movies, you gotta hop in and play this one. Apparently, the DLC, I heard this, I don't have confirmation, is $3. Like paid DLC, but $3. Sure, that's less than this coffee. So like, I'm all in on that. If you give me another hour of this game and just give me a little bit more motion, some of the just picturesque environments that they were showing. Really spoke to me already of just remembering like what this game is and the way that it utilizes color and being so freaking beautiful. Every single moment of this game I could screenshot. It could be my screensaver. It's so fucking beautiful. Can't wait. My plan is if I'm able to get this because it's on Switch, if I can not have to beat the game and I can just like pick up the prologue and hop into it, I'm gonna do that during vacation and hop into that. That's gonna be my little sweet treat for that. Next up, we had Yako Shinobi Ops. This was the Metal Gear Shinobi game. It felt like
isometric top-down viewpoint. I think it looks cool.
For me, I'm a little like it looks all right. Like I'm not super in on it. Next up, we had Project Windless. This is the big chicken game. This is cool. Like I think that my biggest question mark is this actually going to be super fun, or is it more of a gimmick where it is, hey, you're playing as a large chicken, you're going and beating up a bunch of baddies, and there's some cool boss fights.
Yeah.
Then after that, we had Star Wars Galactic Racer gameplay slated for 2026 still. this is how you do a trailer, dude. It looks like there's some story content in there. And you had just the sound design of Star Wars cruisers and ships and everything is so good. It's so iconic. I this is another trailer I think I've seen 3 times at this point, and like I just love it. Like I think that this is exactly what I want. The fact that this year we're gonna get a Forza Horizon game, and then we're also gonna get this for a more really arcadey feel. Somebody was like, and you and I talked a little bit about this. Forza Horizon, not a true racing sim, not a Gran Turismo thing, but it's still a realistic, like, fun time. Like you can get on the track, you can do quarter miles and stuff like that. This is just pure arcade.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very excited to have that type of experience in Star Wars from the old Burnout devs.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? This is gonna be awesome.
The variety of courses looks awesome.
Yeah.
Locales that from across the Star Wars universe that I'm really excited to race through. The destruction of the different carts or ships.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Looks very Burnout-esque. So I'm excited about that. It's a big Burnout / Motorstorm vibes. I'm a big Motorstorm guy. So yeah, I'm not a big racing fan, generally speaking, but if I'm going to get into a racing game, it's going to be something like this.
And then the pod racing at the end. I was wondering, I was like, what are the pod racing? Freaking dope as hell.
And it looks big budget too.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's got some money behind it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessary, but it does add a little bit of visual fidelity here that I think elevates the experience a little bit.
I'm stoked. This is probably top 10 most anticipated for me on the year now. Like
Yeah,
it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Like I'm stoked for this. Next up, not God of War. 007 got another trailer. They just keep going.
They're learning from Capcom.
This was a montage trailer. I think that this game looks great, and you and I are opposed at this point. Connor wants this game to fail. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I hope that I'm wrong.
Yes. But no, I think that this game looks great, and here's more so where I'm at with this at this point. I think that this looks like an 8 or an 8.5 that I just really want to play.
I think it looks like a 7.75 that I hope is in fact an 8.
Yeah, and I really do hope that it knocks my socks off and is super fun. I believe in IOI and what they do with the Hitman series, and I think that this is going to deliver the goods. Next up, we start heading into the Konami Rock Block Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, getting Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriot and Peace Walker over to modern gen consoles.
Interesting that they didn't just throw Ground Zeroes and 5 in with this.
I think that you don't need it.
Yeah,
like
I
think that like
but you look at the first package, they had quite a bit of content.
Yeah,
in there. I think this is less than that.
Oh, it's definitely less content, but I think it's also more impressive content. Like pulling PS3 games is just apparently impossible, right?
Yeah.
I feel like every company's made it very clear that we cannot do that, and they did it. So shout out to the work that they put into this to allow that to happen. I'm freaking stoked on it. Like the fact that you're going to be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is like just one of the most exhilarating things on the planet, dude. Like I
mean, I have it on PS3, so I had the option to play it over the last few years, but now with this release, it might push me over the edge to finally checking it out. And Peace Walker, Greg Miller's favorite or second favorite game of all time. He's been banging the drum on this title forever since I've like gotten into listening to gaming podcasts. I've been hearing Greg Miller talk very highly about Peace Walker. I do kind of want to play it on PSP just to get that original experience, but it's cool to be able to play this on PS5. But I think that if I were to play it, I'd probably play it on Switch 2.
I was about to say, Connor, I did not even know it was on Switch 2.
Yeah.
Switch 2, Metal Gear Solid 4.
The problem is aiming with the Joy-Cons sucks.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It does not feel good, and I don't know if I want to lessen the experience by not being able to fucking shoot in these games. Though I'm talking about playing on PSP where you have to shoot with the fucking face buttons. So what am I even talking about?
I hate him so much. That's coming out on August 27th. I do, at the end of this, remind me, I do want to take a little trip through just like the calendar and be like, here's all the shit that like we really have this year filled out now a lot more because of this state of play. Next up, we had Darwin's Paradox getting an April 2nd release date. Demos out tomorrow, aka today. Super exciting. Yeah. I think that this game looks cool. It's got inside vibes, but with the octopus.
Yeah, looks great. And MGS crossover too.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Snake turned into a freaking octopus. Funniest
Funny
thing I've
shit
ever seen. Next up, continuing with the Konami Rock Block, we had Castlevania Belmont's Curse getting announced 2026, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Switch, PC, Switch 1, by the way. There's no native Switch 2 for it.
Interesting.
I really do think that, like, if you can put your game on Switch 1, like if it's able to run, if it's more indie, if it's not this massive download size or anything,
Why
it's
not?
not intensive, why not? Yeah.
Also, I think that plenty of big publishers and developers don't have Switch dev kits,
Yeah,
Switch 2
for
dev
sure.
kits, so they might have just gotten them. So this has probably been in development for quite a bit. So they don't have the opportunity to port it over until they get that dev kit. So
I will say, this is what we're looking for, baby. Like,
this is my game of the show for sure.
Yep.
I think this looks fucking awesome. A blend of old and new when it comes to the art style and presentation. The combat and movement looks really solid. The return of Castlevania. I've been asking for this for a minute now. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of my favorite games of all time. Would like to be more into Castlevania in general. So this might be the moment that spurs that on and gets me to play some of the older titles, some of the DS games that are well beloved, and get excited for this release.
Yeah, can't wait. This is definitely a top 5 announcement in the show, maybe even top 3. The large thing that convinced me was rewatching the trailer, and like the excitement of knowing a Castlevania is there, and like actually understanding that this is Castlevania and this is a return, being able to just sink into what the trailer is actually showing it's an unbelievable trailer. Like, seeing that gameplay for a Metroidvania versus what I played last night in the God of War, I was like, holy shit, it's unbelievable. Next up, we had more Konami action with Silent Hill Townfall. Well, first person Silent Hill getting its first trailer 2026. I'm into what Silent Hill's doing, man.
Yeah.
2 remake, and then you go and do Silent Hill F, where you're going to a older version of Japan and like a fictional version, and then you come in with Silent Hill Townfall. It's first person. Like, they're switching it up, the formula, in a way while keeping the Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Hey, you did something messed up. What is like they say that in this trailer, like, what is the backstory of this character? How is it going to go and play throughout this world? They showed some of the freakos, as you would say, in this trailer. They all look terrifying. You know that the game's going to be good and scary when I don't want to watch the trailer. And I did not want to watch this trailer.
Yeah, it's cool that Silent Hill was dormant for a really long time, and now we're just feasting on interesting, weird Silent Hill content. Some safe, some adventurous when it comes to the remakes being safe. And it's like those feel like they're gonna just kind of be a home run every single time we get a new one from Bloober Team. Silent Hill 2 remake, one of my favorite games ever. And then Silent Hill F, not exactly for me, but I think that it definitely takes the series in an interesting direction. And now Townfall seems to be doing just that as well. First, bring the series into first person, modern day setting from what I can tell. And I think the story that they're setting up seems pretty interesting. So yeah, I love what they're doing with Silent Hill nowadays.
Next up, we had Rev Noir. This was the final Konami announcement, and I think that this was such an interesting one to rewatch also. Classic example of like, what's even happening? I'm not able to appreciate what's actually on screen, and I think this was rock solid. This was the one that you were pretty excited about too, right?
Yeah, I think at first blush, it's the anime aesthetic that turns people away and is like, this just looks generic and looks like something we've seen in this space a million times. But I try to like, you know what else looks kind of like this and is well beloved and amazing? Xenoblade. Like I feel like you can't look at that and say that this is not going to at least strive for something at that level. Just because of the art style.
For sure.
So I get big Xenoblade vibes from this, and I hope that it kind of meets that expectation potentially.
I wouldn't count on it meeting the expectation, but I do think that you can have the hope that expectation will be met. Next up, John Wick getting announced. This is the definition of a dream game for me. Like, and I know it's Saber. I don't have the highest like, oh dude, this is gonna be unbelievable, this is gonna be an all-timer because it's just John Wick. I want to see more. I want to see what a level looks like. but they got a lot of what I'm looking for right with the tone of this game. This art style, I think, works with it. I think that the music that is playing under the trailer is awesome. You have the classical music, and then it kicks into the dubstep, and you're like, yeah, dude, this is John Wick. You have everything that you want to when they kick into gameplay, and we discussed it a little bit. They were just showing cool finishers. But also, it's nice that there's cool finishers in this game. I don't have the utmost faith that this is going to be awesome, 10 out of 10 banger, but I'm just happy that there's a John Wick game out there that's being developed.
It's crazy that we don't have one yet. That's like a AAA third-person action-adventure style John Wick game, and the fact that we're getting one finally is great, but Saber is really the thing that's holding me back from being like super excited about it. Like, if it was slow clap at the end,
you literally said
devs, I would have been out of my seat being like, this is guaranteed to be great. Not that Saber is like a bad developer by any means, but that's not a name that immediately gets me excited and gives me full confidence that this is going to be great. So I'm tentatively excited.
You during the reaction, you were like, dude, what if? And I was thinking slow clap. I'm like, don't even say it.
When it cut to gameplay, when it cut to the finishers, it looked like it was kind of in that art style, and then Saber, of course, shows up at the end.
But then again, once again, cool that they're able to give a product that for a moment you were like, yeah, that kind of looks like a style of a very trusted studio in slow clap. Then we got a marathon trailer. You're in, I'm in, we're all in. You Wumbo.
Didn't need to see this, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, same. Then PlayStation at Plus Editions, Marvel Spider-Man 2 on February 17th. Classics catalog getting Tekken, Dark Resurrection, and Time Crisis. Cool. Like I think across the board, this is what you want to see. Also, way to fly through it. I felt like this literally was under a minute to get through all these trailers. Then the Big Walk got another trailer. The studio behind Untitled Goose Game. I'm not super in on it.
What was this not announced to be a part of the PlayStation Plus collection?
I don't think so.
Weird.
Yeah. It was also just like a weird time for this trailer to show up in the show. Then Housemarque getting another trailer for Saros, April 30th.
I'm in. Cool that there's permanent progression though.
Yeah,
there's a bigger focus on that.
I will say, we were like, what can you show from Saros that we didn't know about? They gave us a detail that got us more excited about this game. So shout out to them for pulling something out of their hat to make us stoked. And then the X-Men coming to Marvel Tokon, and the release date of Marvel Tokon, August 6th. I did look up. Evo's in June. I was right about the summertime. So August 6th on the back half of this, I think that this is awesome across the board. Is it the characters I'm super stoked for? No. Did I watch a little bit of a breakdown on like some of the changes that they are making? They are making changes to this game for some of the complaints that people have had with it, which you love to see that. We're starting to work through what we're going to be having for a day one release. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to fighting games and betas and stuff like that, all that matters is you come out of the gate strong day one release. Because that's where you're really getting the floodgates open, especially for a Marvel Arc System Works fighting game. I'm stoked for this. August 6th. Can't come soon enough. Very, very stoked. Also, I love this cadence at the end of the state of play too. Hey, PlayStation first party, not first party, or partnerships and stuff like that, where it is, here's also what you're playing on the system in our big dogs that you already knew about, getting dates, getting new trailers, getting excited for March, April, August, and then to close it out, God of War Trilogy Remake. You said it so well. It's really hard to get really excited about this for two reasons. One, it feels far away. Two, I don't know what this is. I really don't know what this is.
My expectation is that it's kind of going to be in line with the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy remakes, where it's like it's still the same game and feels the same, but looks modern.
Yeah. I
want the camera to be in the exact same position too. Like, I don't think you want to tweak these games too drastically and make them feel like God of War 2018 and Ragnarok.
Some people are saying that we're getting God of War 2018 and Ragnarok from this, and it's like, here's the big issue. We shouldn't be having that conversation right now. Like, I understand that they literally probably don't even have assets to go and show us right now, but it would have been awesome for TC to be like, we're doing some version of, hey, we're doing modern this, that, the next thing, or we're gonna go and make it just a remake-ish situation like Crash. And but I should know whether it's going to be behind the shoulder, chains, good to go, like Norse trilogy, not trilogy, Norse games, that sort of fixed camera the entire time, or if it's going to be top down slash gameplay. Like, that is a huge question, and I don't think we're going to get answers about this anytime soon. And not having that answer makes me, am I excited for this? Yeah. Am I going to play this? 100%. But also, I'm not in love with the lack of answers that we're getting on this. And then also, it feels like this is forever away. Somebody was like, when are you expecting the next God of War game? Like the next mainline God of War game. And I was like, bro, we're not seeing the next God of War game, new God of War game, till like 2035.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have this trilogy.
That's why we're getting this.
Yeah, exactly. Someone they're like, that's insane to think that we're not going to. I'm like, no, we're getting this. We're going to get the 2D game. And then we're going to get Barlock's next game from Sony Santa Monica. And that's your next decade of Sony Santa Monica, dude.
Wild to me that they have been working on God of War since 2005 and nothing else.
Well, I mean, they partnered up for PlayStation All-Stars. They helped to get that game shipped, Connor, never forget. And then God of War, Sons of Sparta to close out the show, a shadow drop. The hard part about this is the expectations versus reality situation. And I don't think that this game is perfect by any means.
I was so ready to be the number one defender of this game because I know that it was going to get a lot of backlash from gamers who only want the AAA God of War experiences. But the fact that it looks like it doesn't have Kratos looking like he does in those early God of War games with the blades. I just, and the art style I think is good, not great. Like I thought it was going to be more in line. We heard 2.5D. I thought it was going to look similar to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Like the combat doesn't really jump out at me as something that looks exceptionally fun with the spear and talking to you today. It sounds like that lines up.
The spear, not great. The parry with the shield feels perfect. Like, it feels perfect.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I also like with the, I want to not be able to pogo necessarily, but I want to be able to like down slash with my spear at least. And you can't. You can only do like the side. It just feels just a little bit off.
So I think this game looks good. I'm excited to try it out. I thought this was going to be a slam dunk home run to be a smaller supplemental title to hold people over and keep people interested in the God of War franchise, especially with the show coming out next year. And I don't think that this game is going to do that necessarily.
Yeah. It's definitely a bummer just in general when you have the hope of what your mind can run wild with, being like, oh, dude, we're going to get this, that, and the next thing. And it's like, it's not exactly what I wanted. Yeah. And that is a little bit disappointing. Connor, so to close this out, are you still at your 8 out of 10?
I don't know, man. I think that the fact that the opener was Kana, which is cool and interesting, but like not overly exciting for me, and I think not overly exciting for most people. And the finale was a God of War trilogy that is 5 years away potentially, and a 2D God of War game that I am admittedly a little bit disappointed in just based off of how it looks. I am definitely judging a book by its cover. I've not played the game, and I'm still going to play it. I'm still interested in it. With that in mind, it's just like, it's really hard for me to say that this is great. Like, yeah, fine. I'll stick with the 8, but like I'm closer to a 7.5.
Let's. I mean, you can give it a 7.5, you know, no one's stopping you.
7.75.
No, I will stop you from that. That's not happening.
What about you? Are you?
I'm at my 8.5. Okay. Because I really was impressed by everything here. I just think the biggest issue, the reason that this wasn't amazing was that the God of War stuff is, I feel like I'm also discrediting the God of War stuff a little too much. Because God of War Trilogy Remake getting announced is exciting. Like, that is objectively really cool and awesome. And but like, you want to know the funniest part of that trailer that not enough people are talking about? It is the exact same way that they announced Ragnarok. Oh, the logo of God of War, and then
Yeah.
Boom. Like, that's all we got, and it was 4 years away.
I will say that I'm not super stoked about this trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be remade. I think these games hold up pretty well.
But you don't need it to be
yes,
remade. But I'm like the definition of why somebody.
It is a substantial announcement. I do appreciate that. It's just not something that I'm over the moon about.
Let's stop hearing from us. Let's bring in some write-ins who also scored the State of Play. Shout out to the people that wrote in last night. I was genuinely concerned that with the timeline of the State of Play and then me streaming after that, we weren't going to get a lot of write-ins. A lot of people wrote in, so thank you very much. Shout out to Trey Fraser, who gives the State of Play a 10 out of 10. They say, I consider this a 10 out of 10 State of Play because when I look at every bit of content presented to me, I can see myself enjoying everything they're offering. That makes it a personal 10 out of 10 for me, but I know this is an unpopular opinion. I don't hate that. If you think that this is a 10 out of 10 because the entire time you're engaged and you're stoked about all these games,
I think
awesome.
that perspective is refreshing, honestly. Like, you don't necessarily have to be getting out of your seat, flipping a table excited to still give something a 10 out of 10 if it's consistent all the way through.
Liam Neville writes in and says, I think the State of Play was made specially for me. We finally got release windows for me the Hollow after its delay, which is one of my most anticipated games as a huge Game Boy Zelda fan. I love Castlevania as well. Symphony of the Night is one of my favorite games. So a new Castlevania is everything I could ever want, and it looks great. I love Metal Gear Solid too, and being able to now play 4 and Peace Walker is fantastic news. Then we got a shadow drop of a God of War Metroidvania, a genre I love. The remake of a trilogy doesn't feel necessary, but it'll be cool to play a version of those games on modern consoles. All those are incredible, and that's not even mentioning Kena, which looks cool, more control wrestling gameplay, and the first person Silent Hill game. Easy 10 out of 10 for me. People I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I'm stoked that people are stoked on this. And I do think when you lay out all the exciting announcements like that and specifically point out like the ones that really drew you in, I think it's very easy to understand how somebody comes to that score.
I'm going to bring in Ram. State of Play is like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. aka the Connor score. A lot of what we already knew with a couple of dates. I'm not hyped over releases of old games and remakes of ones that are years away, but pacing was good. I was never bored watching it, except while I was watching Beast Reincarnation. Yawn.
Wow.
Damn. Ending on the weird Sparta game kind of took it down for me. I think that though they freaking nailed having that be a shadow drop.
Yeah.
Because if it was not a shadow drop and we were able to stew on that game for even 3 months, I think that the excitement would have kind of nosedived. But the fact that I was playing it last night, super stoked, was a bunch of fun.
I think Ram pointing out the pacing is a good point to bring up. That's been a big sticking point for me for recent State of Plays where it's like, okay, like I think back a long time ago at this point, but to the Ghost of Yotei State of Play where they announced that, it was like it was not good for the entire thing, and then it was brought up by Ghost of Yotei getting announced. You look at the Wolverine and Saros State of Play that was in September of last year, so the most recent one before this, and it was like bookended by great, exciting updates and reveals, but everything in between, it was like, man, this is a slog. I look back at the State of Play that I would consider the best of last year, with kicking off with Luminous Arise, Final Fantasy Tactics, The Evilus Chronicles, Romeo is a Dead Man, closing with Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Neo 3 announcement in there. That's the kind of pace that I'm looking for. That's an 8.5 for me now. I gave it a 7.5, but like I said, I'm readjusting how I feel about State of Plays and how I rate them. So that level of consistency and excitement when it comes to new announcements, I think that's what I'm looking for. And him mentioning that pacing here, I think we got close to that during the State of Play.
I will toss out the fact. I think that the big thing that you're looking for from a State of Play is new announcements. You want something that you didn't know about before that comes out of nowhere, and like, I will say though, the most exciting parts of this were those new announcements, I think, for the two of us, between the John Wick game and Castlevania.
Yes, Castlevania is the most exciting thing for me personally, but John Wick is a little bit muted because of X, Y, and Z that I've already went over.
And the last one, we normally only do 3, but y'all once again showed up last minute. I want to bring in Ba Phoenix, who says this was a really great state of play. I think an 8.5 out of 10. I think the highlights of a new Castlevania game, a new John Wick game, new Metal Gear Solid collection, a God of War trilogy remake, and a God of War Sons of Sparta Shadow drop were very sick announcements. Some being big enough that we'll remember fondly of the state of play when we first heard about it. Was a lot of other stuff just chalk? Sure. Marvel Tokon, Silent Hill Townfall, RE9 trailer, Marathon, etc. But predictable doesn't mean bad. Bonus to the new Control Resonant stuff too, which was insane. No VR stuff though. Sorry, Connor.
Come on, man. PSVR 2 dead. It's over. GG's. That sucks. It's disappointing, but they point out that you kind of have to the chalk stuff, the stuff that like you just need to get those updates on. Like I appreciate what state of play is and the need for big companies to just get their marketing beats in. Like I don't want to see more Resident Evil. I don't even need to see more Control necessarily or Galactic Racer. Like I'm already excited about these games, but you got to keep them on people's minds. You got to get new people interested who don't watch everything. So any opportunity to get your game in front of more people is going to need to be taken by these devs, so it makes sense.
We're gonna sandwich these next 2 stories together because they're under the same vein. Connor and I were talking about this on how we best want to handle these 2 stories in particular. So I'm gonna go headline into headline. Headline: designer claims most of Highguard's dev team has been laid off weeks after launch. This is Andy Robson at VGC. The story was updated, so this is the direct quote that we're going with there. Wildlight has confirmed it has made an unspecified number of layoffs. Quote, today we made an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping the core group of developers to continue innovating on and supporting the game. We are proud of the team, talent, and the product we've created together. We're also grateful for the players who gave the game a shot and those who continue to be part of our community. End quote. Hopping into the next headline. Headline: Riot Games lay off dozens from 2XKO development team with less than a month after launch. This is Vicky Blake at IGN. Quote, less than a month after the launch of its free-to-play 2v2 tag fighting game, 2XKO, Riot Games is scaling back its development team. Admitting the news was, quote, difficult to share, end quote. Producer Tom Cannon said that despite securing a, quote, passionate core audience, end quote, the new game, quote, hasn't reached the level needed to support the team of this size long term. With a smaller focused team, we're going to dig in and make key improvements to the game, including some of the new things we've already heard you asking for. We'll share some of our plans soon. End quote. Cannon added. End quote. Connor, I want to take the ball first, especially with this 2XKO news. 2XKO is a flawed game. I booted this up. I was very, very excited to see what exactly is going to be the rollout of this game. It being a free-to-play game, I do think is a large flaw. Free-to-play fighting games don't work. Multiverses kind of prove that. Obviously, you expect 2XKO to be better with this League audience to come in and help out with it. The people that are just generally interested in Arcane, like myself, that want to try out a fighting game, to be stoked on this. It being free-to-play, the way that you have to be monetized, there's only like 12 characters at launch. 6 of those characters you have to unlock in a very difficult and grueling way. It isn't super fun to unlock these characters fast, or you have to pay for it, which also makes sense because you're a free-to-play game. You have to monetize your game. I think that the game's fun to play, but has not drawn me back to it. That's a issue. We're talking about a few weeks after launch, and I'm completely out on what this game was. Then you flip it over to Highguard. It's what you always say. You can't just be good in this type of industry when it comes to multiplayer games and in live service games. Can't just be good. Highguard is a very good game. Highguard is a game that I want to be playing right now. I like video games, and Highguard's one of those games that I like quite a bit. But also, you just see the sentiment. You see where that player base is at. They have fans. I see TikToks being made about this game. There's people that are passionate about it. It is just not the size that they needed. This sucks. But I also think that these 2 stories, for differing reasons, were kind of inevitable. The last thing that I want to say before I let you go off on this, and this is sort of my end sentiment when it comes to the Highguard discussion. If you were okay with being right, if you are more happy that you are right, then you are upset that people lost their jobs, and you can kind of go kick rocks. I think that is sadly the industry that we work in right now, where enough creators and enough people on the internet were so excited for this game to fail that they would rather be right than have these people lose their jobs than have a game potentially be successful and have fun with it. I fucking hate that. That disgusts me. I think that that's actually kind of deplorable. We like, oh, dude, this game is gonna be the next greatest game of all time, and like, you got to get stoked about this. No, we knew that there's a chance that this exact thing would happen, and we were realistic about that, and we talked about that during this show for 2 months or a month before release, and a couple weeks after release. Of this game's fun. It's not perfect. I hope that it works out, but yeah, we were real with what this was. But for the people that were just shoveling hate towards this large furnace of just negativity and wanting this game to fail so that they could be right and be like, I know ball because I was right about this game sucking. You're part of the problem, and kindly you can go and kick rocks if you wanted this game to fail. Fucking hate that type of discussion. Unnecessary. Sucks that people are losing their jobs because of it. I wish that there was a way where the funding of this game made sense, and I get it. The finances did not make sense to have the team this size with where they were going. It's a free-to-play game. It's hard to make that money back. All that stuff. But this has been a really frustrating... This whole arc, and now we're on the end of the arc, it feels like, with Highguard. I don't expect this game to last much longer. This is just fucking the worst. And I want to like sit down with some of these people and be like, why?
Yeah.
Like, go fuck off. Like, genuinely, I'm so pissed when it comes to the rhetoric around this game. And now this is being the end stopping point. It's okay that this didn't work. It is okay. And I feel bad that the people have lost their jobs. But what is not okay is the rhetoric around this game and what this industry is turning into. People rather being right and having people lose their jobs than being genuinely excited about something that could be cool and fun.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that the hate brigade around this game is the reason we are where we are right now.
It's not.
It certainly doesn't help,
Yep.
though. But as we've said, for every multiplayer game, you can't be good nowadays. You have to be exceptional. You have to be great right out the gate, too. Like, the days of Destiny 1 coming out and being good at launch, and then them building on top of that foundation and creating something truly special over time, those days are long gone.
Yep.
There's too many games to play. The market is oversaturated with options. And if you don't capture that audience right out the gate, it's not like you're going to build from a small base and good word of mouth. Like, you need a strong base from day one, and then you need to build on top of that.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I think that Highguard is a good game, not a great game, and I think that's why we're ending up where we are. But I hope you're happy if you championed the downfall of this game, because you got what you wanted. A bunch of people have lost their jobs now and are having their lives uprooted, and that shit fucking sucks, and it always will. And then you look at 2XKO, and I think it's a kind of a similar instance where, like, I think the game just has not captured this wide audience like they had expected. And from what you're saying, it's not only it's mainly from the game just not being that great in the first place. And like, when it comes to Riot and their expectations, they're not in the business of making a few $1 million and getting a strong community, small but strong but dedicated community around their games. They make League of Legends. They make Valorant. These games that are powerhouses that sell out arenas for their esports. And I think that was probably their expectations going into 2XKO, and they did not even come close to sniffing that kind of success. Like, so with that in mind, it makes sense that they find themselves where they currently are, but it is a bummer, because I do think that if you look at the fighting game industry as a whole, like, it's easy to see that people are really dug into their camps, dug into their games, that they play. If you're a fighting game fan, you play Tekken and that's it. You play Street Fighter and you grind Street Fighter and that's it. Mortal Kombat, and we have Guilty Gear, and then you have other franchises coming back and trying to make a name for themselves and get a foothold. And even then, like it's there's too many of those now as well. Like there's just too many options for something like 2XKO to break into a space that already has so many powerhouses.
Yeah.
So, and I think that if you look at 2XKO and see that it's pulling familiar characters and has a built-in fan base from Go and can't break in, nothing can.
I think that the large issue is this could have worked.
Yeah.
Like the formula actually kind of makes sense. You have characters that people care about. The game's quality, rock and roll. And I think that they went going free to play and doing what Riot does with what their free to play model. In this case, I really just don't think that free to play fighting games can necessarily work. And that's a big bummer because the way that you have to monetize.
But it's the same way that you monetize League and the same way you monetize Valorant to unlock characters in Valorant. It's a grind.
Yeah.
But
I also think that like the pool is too limited. If they had 20 characters and you had 12 that you're able to play right away and then you unlock the 8, different conversation than what felt like half the roster.
Right.
And the characters I want to play the most as are locked immediately, and because you have those familiar faces and you do want to go and play those people. Shout out to the amazing members over on patreon.com/Cope64. You keep the lights and mics on here. If you're over at the highest tier, you get your name read at the end of each and every podcast we do. Amazing members like Roland K,
A2 Tone Hooligan,
40,
Awesome O,
G-Town,
Stellinator,
Humunga Dunga,
Night Echoes,
Skull Sunderer,
Caleb Beef,
Squidalicious,
Soundhills X,
Blake is a dog,
Cash R,
Chaboy Jake,
Cood,
Jakey P,
Pagey,
Pigeon Power,
John Byers,
Tyler,
Sir Shellis,
Raincoat,
Chuzar,
MG Dunbar,
Mr. Munchies,
Malcolm the Dog,
Farmer Spud,
Rocketator,
Nofi,
The Dankest Mike,
Swampy Bits,
Tristan C,
Sconesy C,
Aloha Alley,
Scooterman,
Centuro,
Hook'em Horns,
Go Nash,
Neutral Sphere,
Eli the Unusual,
The Neutron Style,
Meow Chow,
Easton C,
Kingdom Hearts Rules,
Stooby Dooby,
Crispy,
DJ Zach B,
Jacob D,
Big Mac,
Metal Nate,
The Patty Cake,
Bear Pog 456,
Cowboy Jesus,
Mega,
Yogi,
Damn,
Holden M,
Shane O'Mac,
Brock,
Voodoo,
Milky Sands,
Reggie Ranks,
Alex the Golden,
Andrew H,
Master Diz,
Cannon Fodder Games,
Only One Rufus,
JMappy3,
Snake,
Ali Benali,
Michael.
Kingdom Hearts Sucks. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Casual Gaming News Conversation. See you in the next one. Peace out.